This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. I've been sounding the warning about white supremacy in America for quite some time. I've been talking specifically about the threat posed by Fox News with Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson, specifically Tucker Carlson. Tucker has been spreading a white supremacist talking point, white genocide or the great replacement theory. There's all these different words that are used openly in white supremacist circles, talked about by Richard Spencer and David Duke and the panoply of other dipshits, white supremacist, white nationalist, white separatist assholes. And Tucker Carlson, because he doesn't have a shaved head, because he doesn't run around in Proud Boy regalia, is somehow more acceptable to the American mainstream. And he is mainstreaming these ideas on a nightly basis on Fox News. And finally, some media are starting to pay attention. I'm going to read a little bit from this Axios article. A racist conspiracy theory goes mainstream. Finally, some of the media are starting to talk about this. A growing number of elected Republicans are openly promoting white replacement theory, a decades-old conspiracy theory that's animated terrorist attacks, including the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. This mainstreams what once was the sole provenance of white supremacists. The white replacement theory posits the existence of a plot to change America's racial composition by methodically enacting policies that reduce white Americans' political power. The conspiracies encompass strains of anti-Semitism as well as racism and anti-immigrant sentiment. Fox News host Tucker Carlson has for years alluded to elements of replacement theory. Former President Donald Trump emboldened some believers as well, including by retweeting accounts that identified themselves as believers in quote-unquote white genocide. Carlson's recent defiance in the face of the Anti-Defamation League's calls for him to resign have put these conspiracies back into the spotlight, along with the pronouncements of some high-profile elected officials. Representative Matt Gaetz, dipshit Republican from Florida, last week tweeted an explicit endorsement of white replacement theory. Gaetz later tweeted that he doesn't think of replacement solely on race/ethnicity terms, blaming the left for taking him out of context. Other Republican officials endorsed tenets of white replacement theory without explicitly using the term. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick recently told Fox News' Laura Ingraham that the Biden administration's immigration policy is designed to eventually create a giant new group of Democratic voters, and every one of them will have 2 or 3 children. You see, dog whistles are no longer powerful enough. They need to just say it. This is disgusting. This is racism and white supremacy couched in some theoretical observation of what is taking place in America. Fear-mongering of immigrants, fear-mongering of black and brown folks from elsewhere, fear-mongering otherizing non-white people. That is what this is. It's not just Dan Patrick, though. Representative Scott Perry, one who was not allowed to be on the January 6th Select Committee because he fully endorsed Donald Trump's lie about the election, attempted to give fuel to the overturning of the election movement. Not a good guy. Representative Scott Perry, Republican of Pennsylvania, said during a committee hearing in April, quote, "For many Americans, what seems to be happening, or what they believe right now is happening, is what appears to them is we're replacing national-born American, native-born Americans to permanently transform the landscape of this very nation." Racists, every last one. Spokespeople for Fox News, Gaetz and Patrick, did not respond to requests for comments for this story. Perry's office declined to comment on the record about his comments. Because they're cowards. Filthy, feckless cowards. Disgusting. Hiding under their desks. They only talk about these things in comfortable company. They're not going to talk about it to the regular mainstream media, the actual journalists in the country. They do it with a friendly audience on Fox News or Newsmax or OAN. Cowards. Victims advocates say giving credence to conspiracy theories could encourage more violence. And this has brought on violence. Not only the Oklahoma City bombing, but other recent domestic terrorist attacks. In 2019, a gunman inspired by white replacement theory killed 23 people at a Walmart in Dan Patrick's state of Texas. A gunman inspired by white replacement theory killed 11 people at a synagogue in Perry's state of Pennsylvania in 2018. The Christchurch massacre in New Zealand was also a white genocide, white replacement theory motivated killing. Far-right and right-wing supremacist groups in the U.S. and Europe have latched on to several iterations of these conspiracies, accusing liberals of plotting against white people, either with public policy or violence. Quote-unquote white genocide is believed to have been coined by the late David Lane, an American neo-Nazi in 1984, who was convicted for his role in the murder of Jewish radio host Alan Berg. Lane was part of a domestic terrorist group called The Order, named after a fictional terrorist group in a racist book called The Turner Diaries, which inspired Timothy McVeigh and other mass murderers. The Turner Diaries and another white replacement theory novel called The Camp of the Saints recently saw their online values surge. Because this is something we need to be paying attention to. Because Tucker Carlson is mainstreaming this, being brought on by Megyn Kelly to congratulate him on bringing this to Americans' attention. Disgusting. And is a main objective, policy objective of the Republicans to forward these racist, white supremacist, white separatist, anti-black, anti-brown people attitudes and bring them into the mainstream. It's pattern and practice for the Republican Party now. It's no longer your grandpa's Republican Party. This is the modern Republican Party. This is what Donald Trump didn't bring with him. Certainly he was a part of it, but this has been waiting to happen. Ideas that were not socially acceptable, because they're not socially acceptable, weren't talked about. But Donald Trump gave everybody permission to throw away the dog whistles and be openly hateful and bigoted and racist because they fear their supremacy in our society is falling away. They fear that demographic change is going to leave them out of power, and it scares the shit out of them. That is why there are myriad voter suppression laws all across the country being implemented to try to take away political power from people of color. Disgusting. We need to keep on top of this particular issue. Don't let it become mundane. Maintain your level of outrage about it. What do you think? You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you there. If I bring you value, please consider supporting my work here on the platform for as little as $1.99 a month. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. That is not just for the podcast. It's also for here, supporting my work everywhere that I do work. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Till then, be genuine. Take care of one another.